Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm Wolfie Stitches over on Instagram and here on YouTube, and this is Flosstube number 6. An irregular pattern of recording. Can you believe that? Not me. My goal with my Flosstube is to do monthly updates, and I did my last Flosstube a year and a half gap between Flosstube 4 and Flosstube 5, and I thought, well, I might manage monthly. My track record says I won't, but here I am. I'm going to jump straight into it. I am using this to track my stitching this year. I did have this same one last year. Before that I was using the Book of Days, but this one is from the Stitching Cabin. It's so beautiful. I've not got the hardback one. You can get it in hardback. And I think next year I might treat myself to the hardback one. But it's such a nice book. It's not, I know the Book of Days is just each month to view, and this has got a lot in. So I have the month to view, which is my January month, and I'll read the stats from that soon. But the other bits in it, obviously a monthly, each month has got a month to view, and then a log page, which is just a plain page. And you could put maybe pictures of your works there or something that inspires you. I've just wrote all my stats there. It's got an annual tracker, works in progress section, a wish list section, a ledger. So I'm tracking all, I won't show that one. I'm tracking all my spends this year, and this is the one I want to show you. So this is where I'm doing, there is a section for WIP lists. So that's this, works in progress, which is really good. It's got like a section for your picture, and then all your details. I've got more WIPs than how many there is. There is quite a lot, but I've got a lot. So I'm doing it like this on the back. There's lots of plain pages at the back, so I'm doing it like that. But, oh, planned new starts. It's a really, really good book. If you really like writing all your stats, writing all the information, it's the perfect. Oh, there's a section for stitching goals as well. But yeah, that is a really good book. So if I come to January then, so each day I track how many hours I've stitched and what I've stitched on. Here I write down the WIPs that I've worked on. Here I do finishes, any yellow days, and no stitch days. So in total in January I stitched 75.5 hours which sounds a lot, doesn't it? But that does include like me waking up early hours to have a couple of hours to myself, and when my 3 children are in bed, that's what I do in an evening. My partner works away in the week, so there's a lot of space for me to fill with my stitching. In January I have worked on 12 of my WIPs. I went into January with 25 WIPs. I've left January with 29 WIPs, and I had 2 finishes. So I'm going to show you my finishes first. First one is Highland Scene by Anchor. So this was a kit. I swapped the fabric out for 32 count white linen, and in my last Flosstube I explained that I cut the bottom section off because I was bored of stitching on it, and I didn't feel like I was enjoying it. I didn't particularly feel called to stitch on it, but I wanted to finish it because I did really like the pattern. So inspired by Helen at the Diddy Stitcher, I just cut a section off the bottom, and this is my finish. I haven't actually got the cover photo to hand anymore because I've posted it to someone, but what's missing is about this much, and it's mostly just purple flowers. But I think this looks like a beautiful image as is. The back stitch is amazing.
It really, really makes it. I'll tell you what though, the back stitch on this sheet was no joke. I did not enjoy that. If I hold them a bit closer. The back stitching on those faces, that was hard. So yeah. This sky, you can't see it so well, but it's all half stitch. It was really fast to stitch up actually. And it's really effective because it looks, it really gives the illusion of background. What's the word? Composition, is that the word? Like this is quite heavily back stitched and full stitched, and this has got a little bit of back stitch, and then this is half stitch. My partner Kieran is into compositions and photos, and he says a good photo should be split into 3, and I think that's quite obviously split into 3 here. But anyway, Highland Scene by Anchor. I love that. I don't regret stopping where I have. I know someone on one of my stitchy friends on Instagram did message and say you mustn't leave it like that, you should finish it. I mean, I can always go back and stitch it again if I feel like it, but I honestly don't think I will. My next finish is Salt, Wind and Sea. It's an RTO kit. Let me just get A Flavour of Salt, Wind and Sea by RTO, and I've used the kit threads and the kit fabric, and the fabric was a 16 count Rustico Ada, and this is my finish. I am in love with this. So when I showed it on my last Flosstube, I hadn't done this guy yet. I'd done to about here, and I'd said to myself I wasn't going to start here because if I'd stitched him, I wouldn't do all of this work. So the reward of finally stitching him was so good. And look at his reflection. As I get closer, the colours are going to wash out. But look at his reflection. How cute is that? If I hold it back, you might be able to see the colour of the fabric a bit better. There, that's about the right colour. Oh, I love this. I love it so much. I say that about everything that I stitch. Well, obviously, because I only stitch stuff that I really like, but this guy, I haven't really seen many cross stitches like this. Like, it's a pattern of a window. Like, it's not a pattern of a bird, it's the window, and he's quite like just a subtle addition. He's not like the main focus. I mean, he is, but do you know, the majority of the stitching is a window. I really like it. I think it's quite different, that. But after my last Flosstube, when I watched it back to like edit out any moments where like I sneezed or I paused for way too long or anything like that, and as I was watching it back and just chopping it up a little bit, I was looking at this thinking I need to make that finish in January because it's really cute. Anyway, so he's finished now. Those are my 2 finishes for January. I did not do any full finishing, but I shall go on to the WIPs that I worked on. So I have already said, but I worked on 9, 10, 11, 12 WIPs. 4 of them are new starts. Oops. Doing my last Flosstube actually really inspired me to pick a lot of them back up. Ones that I've not touched in a while. Because when I'm just sat here looking through them, like they look great and I love them, but when I was watching it back on my video, I'm thinking, oh, I've never seen it from this perspective. And now I really want to stitch it. So I pulled out Moonlit Bears. This is getting so tatty now, this little piece of paper. Moonlit Bears by Charting Creations. Full coverage. Stitching. 28 count easy grid. 2/1 tent stitch, which is just a half stitch for anybody that wonders. And I put in, if I tell you how much work I put in, so I put 5 hours into this and I bumped it up by 1%. I'll put a picture here of where it was the last time I showed it. Probably won't be able to tell much of a difference, but this is where I'm at. So I did a little bit more work here, and I did really annoying fiddly bits, like there was like one stitch here and one stitch here and two here, and I wanted to like make sure it was complete. I did say on my last Flosstube that I don't know how to do, is it called Royal Rose? I don't know how to do that, so I just like scatter stitch and just stitch all over. But I think most of this is complete now. Isn't it so beautiful? Like, it doesn't even look like stitching. When you hold it here, it could just be a painting. I really love this, but it, like I say, I put 5 hours into it, and I don't think you can tell. Oh, it's absolute full coverage, blows me away. Absolutely blows me away. This is my first big full coverage piece, and before doing it I did think to myself, I don't think I'm capable of doing it. And even now I kind of think the same thing, but you know, it's not a race to get it done. I can keep chipping away at it and it will eventually come together. But I do really admire those people that can have like 4 or 5 of these on the go at once and they're completing them. Like they're huge projects, beautiful projects, absolutely beautiful projects. I'm stitching that with DMC threads as called for. So that was my first one that I worked on. The next one I've worked on is a new start. This was a planned new start, but I had to order some of the threads because I didn't have them all. So it's Silver Creek Samplers. Has it got a name? Is it called Wings? Oh, Shadow of Your Wings. So I did plan on starting this, but I needed to get the threads, which I've got. And I'm using all the called for, which is a mix of Gentle Art and Weeks Dye Works. They're really nice colours. One of these, which one is it? That one, Banker's Grey. If I look at that for a grey, it's so nice. I don't think it's going to come across very well, but it's really nice. And it's not a big start. I think I only did like maybe an hour or 2 on this, but I've started it on 32 count even weave, and I think the colour is called Lilac. I'll have to double check that, but this is what I've done. And like I say, it's only a small start, but I think the colours look really nice. If I hold this here, you'll see the proper colour of it. There we go. I just thought like greens and greys I think will look really effective on this. If I hold the... So, like I say, a small start, but I've been starting all the things. My next WIP is Saltbox Scriptures by Little House Needleworks. I'll insert a picture here of where I was last time. I'm stitching this on 28 count vintage country mocha linen. I'm not using the called for threads. I'm just using some from Stash, but I am following the colours of the pattern. I'm not changing the colours. And I haven't done much on this. I actually think I just put 1 thread in it, but I can't remember, so I'm going to show it again because I definitely put 1 thread in, but that might have been all I did. On my last Flosstube, I said I was only going to stitch this one of the 4, and now I think I'm going to stitch all 4, all on the same piece of fabric. So this is big enough for all of them. But originally I was thinking I might just stitch that one because I really like that one. But as I was looking at it, when I put a thread into it, when I was looking at this, I was thinking actually I might stitch all 4 together. I really like this one. So I might stitch all 4 together. And that pattern was bought for me as a gift from one of the ladies at my stitching group. Okay, my next WIP is a new start. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I shared to my stories my 1, 2, 3 stitch wish list. It's a bit of a mouthful, that. I'd asked something like, does anybody sit on all of these websites and have a wish list on each one and a basket full? Or is it just me? Because on 1, 2, 3 and Hobby Jobby, what other websites do I go on? Peakside Needleworks, Patchwork Rabbit. I will go on and I will sit, like if I've got like a morning coffee or something, I will sit and, like most people scroll like Twitter or Facebook or read the news, don't they? But I sit and pick out my favourite patterns and I add them to a basket, and then I leave the basket. I never check the basket out. And I've done that for years and years and years. And on 1, 2, 3, I've got a wish list that I go in and I'll edit it and I'll take things out, and I take it so seriously, and it's just a wish list, isn't it? Anyway, I had 5 kits on there that I really liked, and my partner Kieran went on my phone and he checked it out. After I'd posted it on Instagram talking about it, he'd picked my phone up and I said, oh, what are you doing? And he said, oh, I'm not doing anything. And then when I looked, he had checked the basket out for me. So I got 5 kits off my wish list, which was really exciting. Really exciting. I'm super grateful that that happened. I don't actually realise that he takes much notice of what I post because it's all just cross-stitch stuff really. But anyway, first up is Magic Owl by, do you say Riolis or Riolis? Riolis. I'm going to say Riolis. So Riolis, Magic Owl, and this is with the wool acrylic threads. So this is the pattern, which is beautiful. And I'm in my blue era at the minute. Everything's blue. Everything's blue. Anything that can be blue is. So I love this. I am stitching this on the kit fabric with the called for threads, because it's a kit, it comes with them. But this is a wool acrylic blend. If I hold it up, I wonder whether you'll see the fluffiness of it. I wasn't sure what I'd think about this, because I can be quite funny with textures, not feels. I can be quite funny with textures. And I'll lick my thread before I put it through the needle. And I just would like imagine that you'll get tiny little hairs in your mouth. Anyway, I asked a couple of people on Instagram about it, and I got real mixed reviews off people. Some people love it, some people hate it and can't use it. And I thought, the only way that I'm gonna know is if I just try it. Someone did suggest though that if I don't like it, I could use this, like use the threads on here to colour match to DMC, and I could just sub this out for DMC. So I thought, well, I've not really got anything to lose then. I'll tell you one thing I don't like though, the pattern. I'll fold it up so you can't really see it very well. The pattern is a colour pattern. And I cannot work from a colour pattern. Well, I can, but it's really difficult. So I like to mark it off. If it's not a digital pattern, then I like to mark it off with a highlighter. So I need to photocopy it to be able to mark it off, but then some of the symbols are actually just a colour. So like the symbol here, it's just a blue square. So I found that quite difficult. The fabric is a 16 count Ada. It's a bit of a funny colour really, but I'm trusting the process. So this is what I've done so far. And I really like stitching with this stuff. If I hold it closer, the fabric's going to wash out a little bit, but my stitches are like really fat and chunky, but I actually quite like it. It's just, I just find it really hard to stitch on because there's gaps in here that I haven't filled in, but I look and I find the gap, and then I'm trying to find the gap on the paper, and then I find the gap on the paper and get the thread, then I'm trying to re-find the gap here. And so I've put quite a lot of work. I think I've done 10 hours into this, and then I had to put it down because it was annoying me, because I'm quite a fast stitcher and I couldn't stitch fast with this. I moved to the background because it was easy to follow the background because it's like sections, but this is so much confetti. It looks really nice though, doesn't it? Like I say, it's a strange colour fabric, but it's the colour that's on here. And I do, on my Flosstubes a year and a half ago, I very boldly said I'll never stitch on Ada again, but I quite like the ease of it. Like, it's not very mentally taxing for me, and I kind of need that really. Life's a lot sometimes. The next WIP I've got is one that I bought from Etsy. It's by Cute Patterns by Maria, and it's cute snowy owls. It's absolutely adorable. It's on the blue fabric. It's got the cute owls. I love, well, to be honest, I love all animals really, but I really like owls and birds and any British woodland animal really. It does show them here on different backgrounds, which is always nice to see, but it was going to be blue for me, except I didn't choose light blue, and this has had the tiniest start. So I got that off the Cute Patterns by Maria shop on Etsy. I'm using the called for DMCs, but the fabric that I've gone for is 28 count Picture This Plus in colour Mystic. And it really is the tiniest start. I've gone for dark blue because I don't have any light blue. And I did have this. And it's a tiny start because I started it late at night and I couldn't see the holes on this. If I just hold it close, you can see what I've... No, it's not going to focus onto it. But I do think that's going to look quite effective on the dark blue. I would have liked to do it on the light blue, but I don't have any light blue linen or even weave at the minute. So we use what we've got, don't we? My next WIP was another new start, and it's The Fox by Merezhka. This is absolutely gorgeous. Do you know, have you seen the, look at the blues? I feel like this pattern wouldn't have blue, but for some reason it has got blue, like leafy stuff. On the back it's got there's a whole range of these. There's a fox, there's a squirrel, there's a pheasant, which I really want, a hare, an owl. I can't think what else there is. I think that might be it. No, a deer. They're so nice, and I love, like, even the squirrel has got like blue. Like, who put navy blue in this pattern? It's perfect. So this is The Fox by Merezhka. I'm stitching this all called for, all the kit stuff, which is 16 count Rustico Ada, another Ada, and this is what I've done so far. Started in the centre of the pattern, moved straight up to the face for the good stuff. Oh, beautiful. Look at the eyes. The eyes are actually green. These are the threads. They look a bit messy, don't they? This is one of the greens in his eyes. If I hold it back, you'll see the Ada a bit better, the colour. Look at that. I'll look at him in front of the Bothy Fred's fox. He's beautiful, and I feel like his face is already so nice, but then he's got back stitching to go on his face as well. I think that's lovely, that. And this is so nice to stitch on because it's on Ada. There's like no, like, I barely have to count. When I'm uneven weaving linen, like I'm counting, and I often count twice. But on this, it's a lot faster to stitch on Aida. I'm using the paper pattern for that, but it does come with a QR code on the front, which is interesting, and it's to download the pattern, you know, so you've got it digitally, which I think is really cool. Next, I have got my Dimensions Gold Collections Petite Morning Lake. I shall put a picture where I was. This is where I am now. I'm not using the kit fabric. It came with a 16 count Aida. Or is it? No, it might be an 18 count actually. Yeah, it's 18 count Aida, that. I'm stitching on a 32 count even, no, 32 count linen, antique white. I think pretty much everything I tend to do on that. I'm saying that this might be my only one I'm showing today that's on this, but I went through a stage of starting everything on 32 count antique white linen. It's a really beautiful pattern, isn't it? I can't get over how good this looks. Like the background, it looks like misty. Like it looks how it's intended to. It's really, dimensions have really captured it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I should pull that out really. I should probably set myself a goal of finishing that one this month. Although I did have a goal for this month of, since it's the month of love, maybe I should show some love to all my WIPs and put some stitches into every WIP. In February I should touch every single one. That's probably not going to happen. There's too much exciting stuff. Next up is another new start. This is Rosewood Manor, Crosses of the Kingdom. I actually bought this pattern with a voucher I got for Christmas, but then when it came I didn't have fabric for it and I wasn't sure about thread, so it's charted with black DMC 310 and gold. Not just the gold colour, it's the light effects. I'm not stitching me that, not for all of this. I know it looks really nice, but no. So I had a look on Instagram, because I've not actually seen anybody stitch this before. So I had a look on Instagram to see if anybody else had stitched it. So I just typed in the pattern name and searched. And somebody has stitched it, I can't think what their name was. But it was in like a purpley variegated thread. And I thought, oh, that's a brilliant idea. Because I was going to do it just in one colour. Just pick one colour and stitch it. And then I thought, oh, that's a great idea, doing it in a variegated thread. So I ordered, well, I ordered two of them, but that's all that's left of this one. But this is Cottage Garden Threads Bonnie Brook. And it's probably the most beautiful blue thread I've ever used. I am stitching this on 32 count flax linen, and this is where I am up to. So this is the far left and this is the far right, so this is the width of the pattern. How good does that look in the blue thread? If I hold it back, you'll see the colour of the fabric better. There we go, look at that. Oh, I'm so happy with my choice of thread. I think it's beautiful. That thread is so nice. Let me see, because there's quite a bit of solid stitch in there, because there's a lot of back stitch, or should I say black work, shouldn't I? Same thing. If I hold this here, you see all the variegation there. Look at that. Oh, and that is Cottage Garden Threads number 415 Bonnie Brook. Easily the best blue I've ever had. It's the perfect blue. I love it. I actually ordered two of these and I ordered 3 Karen water lilies. Is it lilies? Karen water lilies in polar ice, and I stitched about an hour of this in that colour, and then I stitched an hour in this colour. So the first corner was in the other one, and then the next cross was in this one, and I looked at them both and I took some photos of them, and I held it across the other side of the house and went over here to look at it, and in the end I settled on this one. And I was a bit worried whether it was the right choice or not, but now that I've got as far across as I have, I know this was the right choice. It is such a beautiful colour, such a beautiful thread. I'll just show it again. Oh, I love it. I didn't actually realise how big the pattern was. It's one of those where on the picture you've got no, what's the word? You've got, is it no reference point? There's nothing on here that shows how big this is. Like sometimes people have got a finished piece and then they've got a pair of scissors next to it, so it gives you an idea of how big it is. Or they might have it sat on a table and you've got in your head a preconceived idea of how big a table is, whereas this, there was nothing to kind of go off, and I didn't quite realise how big it was. Not that it's a problem, I absolutely love it. I think it's going to look so good when it's done. I think this, it's a bit big to handle. I think this might be about halfway down. Oh no, it's not quite halfway down. This circle here is this circle, so it's probably a third of the way down. But yeah, there we go. I really, really enjoy stitching on that. I was going to say I really love that, but I say that so much I should probably stop. But I do love all the things I stitch on. It makes sense that I love them, that's why I'm stitching on them. My final WIP I worked on in January was another new start. This was another one that came from my wish list that Kieran checked out for me. It's Friendship by RTO, artwork by Amanda Clark. Someone on Instagram said that this was sold under a different name at one point. It wasn't called Friendship, it was called something else. But I forgot what it was. But I suppose nowadays now it's sold as Friendship, so if you are looking for it, that's what it's called. And it's blue, of course. I'm not stitching this on the kit fabric because it is a white Ada, and I'm not sure about stitching on white Ada really. These are the colours, look at them. Look at this one. Number 11. Oh, look, it matches my cardigan. It's so beautiful. Did you know it's got red in the pattern? Look at that, just a random red thread. And on here, it's just got some random red bits. Don't know why that's there. Probably not going to put that in. But isn't that a beautiful pattern? I've actually been working, this is still in its frame because I went to my stitching group this morning and this is what I worked on there. I could probably do with something behind it so that you don't see right through the fabric. This is what I've done so far. Look at him. Don't mind my Jamie Fraser needle minder. Someone from my stitching group got me that as a gift because me and her have a shared love of Jamie Fraser and Outlander. I love that. So the centre start was somewhere around here, and then I've worked up and done his head, and then I'm doing this because I want to get to here and start going around the outside. I really like it on a pattern to stitch all around the outside and then slowly work inwards. I don't know why. I feel like it makes me feel like I'm closer to finishing when all the outside's done. You know, like when you do a jigsaw, it's like your instinct is to start from the outside, isn't it? And then work in. So that's where I'm going with that. That's why I've gone all the way up here. I'm using the kit threads. I've said already, I haven't said what this fabric is. So this fabric is 32 count linen, and this was gifted to me a couple of years ago now actually. gifted to me by Helen at the Diddy Stitcher. She actually gave me it because I was looking for a fabric to stitch Home of a Needle Worker, and she sent me this one, and I ended up not using it. I ended up using a 40 count Fox and Rabbit oyster shell linen for that, and so this just remained in stash. And do you know, when it was folded up, I didn't think I liked it, and then I unfolded it and I went, I can't believe I've never used this fabric. It's beautiful, and I think it's perfect for this. I know it's not the white, but I really like it. I think it works well with the blue. Oh, it's so nice to stitch as well. I felt like I was flying on it this morning at stitching, just because here there's lots of solid colour. There's like thick solid colour bands, and they all kind of blend into each other. It's a really nice pattern to stitch, and I think that's probably going to be my focus for the next few days. So that's all the WIPs I've worked on. Like I say, I have stitched 75.5 hours in January, which is quite a lot of stitching, isn't it? I'm sure everyone out there watching it probably feels the same, that stitching is such a big part of their lives and such a big love. I have so much love for stitching. There's just something so calming about it. Your brain's focused. You're not thinking about anything else. You're just focused on putting that next stitch in. Your hands are busy, your mind's busy, and you're creating something beautiful. How can you not love stitching? Who are these people that don't stitch? Who are they? So all the kits that, when Kieran checked out my basket, all the kits I got, I've started except this one. So this is going to be a new start, probably this month, but I haven't started it yet. I think starting 5 things last week was pretty wild enough. So this is Guardians of the Forest by Luca S. And I don't think I've had a Luca S kit before, actually. Have I had a Luca S kit? No. Wild Spirit was Merezhka, so yeah, this must be my first Luca S. That is, oh, so insanely beautiful. Look at all them oranges. I love it. That could be like my slogan, really, because it's all I ever say. Oh, I love it, I love it. But I do. Someone once said to me, actually, when I was about 19, I remember the moment when I said, oh, I just love it. And I remember him saying to me, you can't just love everything, you know. And I'm like, what a sad little life. Come on. Yes, you can. You can be so full of love and joy for all the things. And when it comes to stitching, I am. So that comes with 16 count Ada, which is white, and I will stitch on this because it's full coverage, so you won't see the fabric. Even the sky at the top where it's really light, it looks as though it's half stitch. So I will be using the kit fabric for that. And here are the threads. Something so good in there about a brand new kit that's not been touched. Look at it all. They're not all scratty yet. They're all perfect, and oh, yeah, look at that. This pattern is huge. This is another one. I won't show it, but there's a QR code here so that you can look at it. I think it comes with its own app, actually. I don't think it's one you can open up yourself. I think it's an app. But I think I'm a bit intimidated by the pattern. There's quite a lot of pages there, so I feel a bit intimidated by it, really. But I would like to start that this month. It's where have I put the cover photo? Yeah, I would like to start this month. It's symbolic for me and Kieran. I'm obviously on Instagram Wolfie Stitches, and wolves have been, they're very special to me. I won't go into boring details of why, but they're very, very special to me. And I've got a wolf tattoo on my hand, and when me and Kieran met and fell in love and, you know, yada yada, he, you know, joined my wolf pack, so to speak, and he has the same one, he has the same matching tattoo. And yeah, it's just very, very symbolic and special to me. So this is going to be for me and him. So I suppose February would be a good time to stitch that, since it is the month of Valentine's. We are moving house. Well, we're in the process of buying a house and selling this one. They reckon it'll be this month. I'm not sure. But I would quite like this in our new bedroom. So we'll see. But it's such a beautiful kit. So that's it for my finishes, my WIPs, and my planned new starts, and my January starts. So that is everything for my January update. In fact, no, it's not. I bought a pattern last night from Charlie Feathers. Her daughter has designed the cutest little snowman. I'll pop it here. And I can't wait to stitch that. She's a lovely friend, is Charlie, a really special friend, and she's such a good mum. And I just love that she's encouraging her daughters to be creative. I love it. So I'm absolutely going to be stitching those snowmen. And if you want to stitch those too, you can just head over to our website or our Instagram. But that is it for my January update. I am hoping I can stay on top of this monthly schedule. I've somehow managed the January one, so we'll see how successful I am in managing February. But if you've watched this far, thank you so much for watching, and everybody that commented on my last video, thank you. It really, really means so much to me. I uploaded it thinking I haven't posted for a year and a half. People are probably not interested. They've probably forgot like who I am, and I just wasn't expecting people to watch it really, and to leave such nice comments. It really, really means so much to me. I love having this space to share my stitching with people. So thank you for watching.